Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
All right, last weekend, interesting weekend, and I thought there were certain things in both games were good. I guess looking at it overall, what we've been looking at and trying to do and trying to keep an eye on with our guys and keep them moving forward in the process, and that's just learning a little bit and getting a little bit better every game. And I thought big difference between the game was just maybe I guess the enthusiasm with which we executed some things. I think we blocked more shots, we ran better routes, we finished more hits, more 50-50 battles. We were a lot better on Saturday night, and we're consequently, I think, just a much harder team to play against. So some learning going forward, especially for a young team, is that there's a price for victory, and usually the more ice bags you have after the game, the harder you played. And maybe Friday night there wasn't quite enough ice bags in there. So I think we did some things well, but you can be positionally there, but not really getting some things done. So liked the effort, liked how they rebounded, like how they came back and played and figured out a way to win a hockey game. So we're looking at weekends like that in the Big Ten, and if we can keep taking points every weekend till we get a little bit more mature and a little better, then we can keep building forward. And this weekend's another good weekend for us to look to do some stuff. Another in-state rivalry, a home and home game, which I like. I think those are fun with Ferris State, and again, it'll be up to us to make sure we're ready to go here on Friday night.
Coach, on Saturday, your first Big Ten win, your first win against a top 10 team. How important was that win against Wisconsin for you and for the team?
Well, I think, as we've seen before, I think feedback is important. You can play well and not win, and that just makes Monday through Thursday, the next week, a lot harder. You've got to motivate them, you got to figure out a way to find the positives, but when you win, you can point to something and say, if we do this, this, and this, there's a direct correlation. So again, getting back to it, where we want to stick with that process and keep moving forward and make sure guys realize that that's what it is and we can't shortcut it. That feedback of having a win is outstanding, and I think it gives Monday a little more jump in practice, and hopefully that leads us to getting better faster.
Danton, Izzo's going through this, and so is D'Antonio. You can't grab a blackboard and teach a kid how to be tough. It just has to learn it. Is that the most frustrating thing as a coach? You can teach almost every part of hockey, but you can't teach toughness.
Yeah, it's tough, and I think one thing when you're looking at guys and players, you try and see them enough, and you try and see some guys have to go through some difficulties, some hardships, and see how they battle through it. So you hope you have the right kids. You can try and replicate some of it. We went through a lot of it with the national program with the young guys that hadn't been involved in a lot of physical hockey, and we spent a lot of time in the first year there with specific drills and closed areas where there has to be contact. And but the physical side of it, we're going to need guys. Our freshmen need to get, they need to get a little grittier. We need a little more sandpaper out of them, especially if you come in and you produce right away. That's one thing. And you put up a bunch of points like Joe Murphy or Rob Brendamore, then maybe you get away with some things. But if you're not producing point-wise, you have to bring that. And ironically, probably our most physical freshman, maybe Tommy Miller as a defenseman, I guess. But up front would be Mitch Lewandowski. He's not a big guy, but he's sturdy. He bumps. Whenever we do forecheck videos or back pressure videos, there's Mitch right in the middle of it throwing checks. So there's a correlation, and it's hard to bring that out. And I always think you can get about 10% maybe better with guys. You can make them 10% smarter as a hockey player, 10% more physical. But more than that, it's what they have in them, and you just try and bring that out of them.
Dan, Cody Milan has found a nice spot on the power play and so forth. What's your assessment of his play in that role and what he's doing on the second line also?
No, Cody's been great. He's probably been one of our most consistent performers, and on the power play, that's the obvious thing. He fits over there. We needed a right-handed shot. He has he has really good puck skills, and he can shoot a puck, so we tried him over there, and that seems to have worked really well for him. And a lot of his points have come from that situation. But just 5-on-5, he's done a really nice job on the right side. He's a big guy. We can use him in matchups. So he's playing with Saliba and Lambden for the most part, and that's allowed us to get them out against other teams' top line sometimes. And Kodorenko's line can do it, but if they're going to spend all their time playing against Trent Frederick and Tommy Novak and Casey Middlestat, guys like that in the league, that takes away from their offense. So if they can get a break and either Tommy Apap's line or Sammy Saliba's line can play against the top lines, that really helps. And Cody's done a great job with that. He's got pucks out, he's got pucks in, and he's banged around. He's not, he's not a kamikaze out there running around, but he does play physical, and he's a smart player. And I think he's got some confidence in all 200 feet of his game right now, which is a great thing to see. And as young as we are, as a junior, we look to his leadership.
Even though Mitchell Lewandowski is a freshman, I mean, what have you seen? He's played in very little games because the season just started. I mean, what have you seen in him in improvements, and what do you see for his future throughout the program?
Well, I think, with Mitch, one thing, he was hurt 2 years ago and kind of missed a summer of training and had a pretty good year with Chicago. And then last year, same thing, he had shoulder surgery and missed the summer of training. So really, I look at Mitch from Christmas on last year, and he really took off. He was about a point a game during the regular season, which is really hard to do in the USHL, and then had a great playoffs. And then on top of that, what I think he did over the summer nutritionally, workout-wise with Coach Vorkapik and coming here being real dedicated, I think that really, he's got the hands, he's got the sense out there and the vision. So you add into that a little bit of fitness, and I think that's really bumped his game. I think for the future, I was talking to him and his mom on Saturday. We have parents night. I think he's just bumping it. I think there's a lot left in his ceiling. So I'm excited for the future with that young man. And he's going to hit a rut here at some point, but he's a pretty level young man. Everybody goes through it, but he just plays the game well. He's got a good stick, passing and shooting, and he fits with that line. So he's been a lot of fun to watch.
Coach, you go from a rough start on Friday, giving up the first 3 goals, to Saturday blanking the number 7 team in the nation. I'm wondering, what did you and the coaching staff work on between Friday and Saturday, specifically defensively, to pull off that shutout and get the 2-0 win?
Yeah, I think it was more application. I don't know if we changed a bunch of things, but I can tell you the video in the morning that we did with the guys was a lot of it's between the blue lines, and the game they used to talk about is one of the corners. It's changed a lot. If you can do a better job up ice in keeping teams from coming through the neutral zone with a lot of speed, if you can do a good job yourself coming through the neutral zone. So I thought our guys were on the wrong side a lot. We couldn't negate their speed. They had 3 guys coming in on the forecheck a lot on Friday. We defended well, but we were always in that. They had the advantage on us every time. So that was probably the biggest emphasis. Just get on the right side, bump them. You don't have to kill a guy, but as they're coming through and they make that pass, even if you just bump them and make them come from a standstill, if you get on the right side defensively, it makes it a lot easier for a defenseman to break out. So we tried to clean up some of those things, and the guys did a good job. And again, I'll come back. I think it was a matter of just understanding what you have to do and then doing it with a little bit of enthusiasm, and that made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, just a little over a month into the season, are you still kind of finding the pulse of this team? Are you learning things about it like every game?
You spend a lot of time with the guys. You get a pretty good feel. I think the thing that we're trying to find is hey, where's the ceiling? Because we're throwing a lot of stuff at them. We're trying to add things as we go along and find our way through that. But I like the team. I think I've got a pretty good feel on where they're at. They've been a pretty resilient bunch. I think they've become really close, and I think a lot of that had to do with last year. I think a lot of that has to do with the 8 freshmen being a really close group. They do a great job together, and I think the older guys have done a good job bringing everyone together. So, I like the team. They're a lot of fun to coach. I told my wife the other day, I don't know if the guys think this, but I don't think I've really had to yell at them or get into them too much. And that is a long time into a season for me to say that. But you know what, they've worked hard, they've applied, they're having fun, they're sticking together, and those are the things that you really want to look for. And then we've been in some tough spots, and I tell you what, I wasn't disappointed with them on Friday. I was disappointed in the result, but you know what, they're trying to figure things out and how to win hockey games. And I told them after the game, I said, I'm not down. I said, I'm kind of excited. I go, because every time you guys have had a challenge, you guys have answered it. And we got a challenge right now to figure out, you know, how to hold them to an awful lot less goals, or else we don't have a chance of winning tomorrow. I go, but you know what, I'll sleep well tonight because like, you guys have answered the bell, and you'll be better tomorrow, get some rest, and we'll come back and play a heck of a game.
Dan, Ferris State has won 3 straight, including the victory in Michigan. What's the challenge in playing against them?
Well, you know what, keep moving forward with us. I think that we look at it, we want to be better, and it's how you can't do it over a season of 35 to 40 total games, but keep getting better every game, and don't take too big a step backwards. So for us, we're going to push. They're going to play a little different style. They're not as they don't play as fast as maybe Minnesota or as cerebral, and they don't play as much of an attacking style as Wisconsin. So it'll be a little different, but they're going to be very structured. Bob Daniels is a good coach, and that team's done very well for a long time for a reason, and Bobby does a great job. So you know what, we're going to have to figure out how to play and stick with that, not get frustrated, not try and do too much one-on-one, which would be a big step back from a coaching staff standpoint. So you know what, we're going to have to play how we want to play and make sure we stick with that and grind her out for 6 periods.